Hey guys, welcome back to TBS Skylab. We've managed to do, I hope, at least totaling, counting, finding the average, except that one got a bit confusing with the weird rounding. And then today we're going to look at maximum and minimum. And these are basically the same algorithm, but with a slight variation on how we do it. So let's open up a nice new window. Now, once again, I have my accounts, and these are bank accounts. So I want to know which account has the most money inside of it. Now, here it gets a little bit tricky knowing which is the biggest and which is the smallest. There's different ways to go about it. I'm going to go with the way that's in the book. I've seen better ways to do it, but let's go with the book way first. So in this case, let's say I want to find the biggest account. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a variable called max. Now notice that's gone purple, so I can't use max. I'm going to use maximum. And what we're going to start the maximum on is 0. So in this case, let's assume that it must be, everything in here must be a positive number. So I want to start the max at the smallest or closest to smallest number. Now, I've actually seen better ways of doing this from students, which is to take the first number and set that to the maximum. But again, I'm just going by what I've seen in the books, and it's better we stick to the books, even if it's not the best. Okay, anyway, so the maximum is going to start at 0. I'm then going to loop through my array, and every time I'm going to compare it to the maximum. If the number is bigger than the maximum, then the new maximum is going to be the new number, or the number that I was comparing it to. So again, to go through an array one by one, and hopefully you're seeing that these are all these algorithms are using a very similar pattern. Yeah, there is tweaks on each thing. So we want to use a count controlled loop, which is hopefully you know by now, a for loop. So we can say for x in range 0 to, I always want to type length of array, but I'm not allowed to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0 to 5. Now, I want to say if that number is bigger than that number, so let's try that. Oops, I've missed a bracket. My teacher. Okay, so if that number, so that number we know is my account's x. I'm going to say if my account's x, so 900, is bigger than the current maximum, which is maximum, then what I want to do is I want to say the maximum is now equal to my account's x. Okay, so hopefully that's not too weird and confusing, but basically you're saying, is this number bigger than that number? Yes. Well then, okay, I'm going to change it to 900. Is that number bigger than that number? No. Skip. That number bigger than that number? No. Skip. Is that number bigger than that number? Yes. Change it. And we just basically go through however many items there are in the array. So then at the end, we need to output the result. And that's going to be to print the maximum. Oops, that's the wrong one. It's going to be to print the maximum. So in this case, the biggest number is 1000, so hopefully we're going to print that out. Oops, what did I do? If my account's x is greater than maximum, why didn't I like that? Oh my god, okay, I put 50 in there. Don't know where that came from. Try again. 1000. Yay! And again, I should probably give a nicer error message here. The biggest number is maximum. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so the biggest number is 1000. So I would say the hard part here is deciding which number to use in there. And so, like I said, I've seen students do it in better ways, which is to say the maximum equals my accounts 0. So that means we're going to set that first number as it, and then when we run it, we should get the same result. Now, if anyone can see any issues as to why this isn't better, please let me know, but it just seems to be a better way to do it. However, the book seems to just try and pick a really small number, the smallest number available, and you should have constraints if they give you this to say the number must be positive or something. You could do that way. Now, the alternative to that is going to be to find the smallest number. Again, let me just take a copy of that so I can put it to the workbook for the kids. An alternative to that is trying to find the smallest number. So we want, instead of this smallest number, we want to start with a really big number. So let's call it minimum. Minimum, probably right. Now, again, this is where it gets weird. So you could start with taking this number as the possible smallest. So my account's X. But again, a lot of the time the book just seems to be saying we should start with a really, really big number. Again, the question should give you a maximum number that things can be, or a minimum number that things could be. So we want to start with a big number. And then instead of if my account's X is bigger than the maximum, we want to say if it's smaller than the minimum. I messed that one up. Hang on. We want to say, is it smaller than the minimum? If it is, then we want to set the minimum to my accounts, X. And then we want to print out the biggest minimum. So the biggest, so I changed the smallest number is 6. So let's see. Yay, that makes a lot more sense. Is that right? Yay, the smallest number is there. Again, it makes perfect sense to then change this to my account. 0 at the start, and let's see what we get. Again, the smallest number is 6. Again, if you can see anything wrong with that scenario, then please go for it and let me know. But otherwise, you could do the book way, you could do it their way. In theory, you should always get the correct points. Okay, hope that helps.